Hello and welcome back to another art video in real time. So this sketch was made several days ago, but I wanted to use it to make one of the mini trading cards that I'm going to be embarking on creating. How far will it get? Will it ever be ready for uh, consumer consumption? Possibly not, but it is fun to do and I do like it. So I will be doing them. And we're using the light table. I know it is blinding, the constant like back and forth with the settings on the webcam, figuring out that the webcam could be bigger than it was previously, because in OBS is like, oh, default device default. You go to the device default, it gives you like this little uh crappy window, but if you go in there you could make it much bigger and much wider. So before we had those that blue background, it wasn't because like I thought it was the best background. It was because the webcam was small and I wanted to have something that wasn't just the black in the background, so that way it was at least a little bit, something. But I am thinking of making a boy time stamp and GIMP, using that stamp and OBS, stamping on like a background, using that background in OBS, setting up a scroll that's diagonal, and then it would be like a scrolling diagonal background, which would be really cool. So, be on the lookout for that. That is something that may happen. It won't happen in this video, but it's something that is coming in the future. So, like, maybe after this, after these videos. So, like, if I had to give a time frame, and about 2 weeks from this video, that might be a thing that exists. I don't know. I don't think so, but we don't know. So maybe, but we shall see. We shall see what we do with that. And yeah, so we essentially traced it using the light table, and now we are drawing over those lines of the blue pencil with a Japanese material sepia pen. Um, and this is like just like a little like ghost creature. It's really cute. I noticed that the other one kind of looks like it's caked up, like it's got a lot of behind, but I don't know. It's just because their like whole body is essentially tucked into like a sock, so you just have to respect that. And we have not been using the new Japanese sepia pens that we got, because this one still has some life in it. And again, I'm not gonna just like switch to the new one uh because the old one is old. I'm gonna switch to the new one when the old one is essentially dead. When the old one is done and it no longer works, then we move to the next one. And for the other two pens, I think that that day is like sooner than later. But this pen keeps coming back to life. Um, there was a set of Faber-Castell pens that I got a few years ago that I never really used. And one day I opened them and I began using one of them, the nib fell off. So that one, the nib fell off. It was just unusable. So it was just the pen and like the metal tip. The other one, I was not able to get it to work, so I just gave up on it. And then the brush pen, perfect, and the extra small, also really good, even though I don't really use it very often. And I kind of like gave up on them because I initially never opened them, because when I got them, they looked really expensive and really important, and I didn't want to use them because I was kind of worried that I wasn't good enough to use them. So it was like, you know, I was like, oh, like I'm not like, I can only use these if I'm good at art. So I'll buy some cheap ones to use that are more to use because they're cheap, and if it's not good then it's okay because they're cheap. But I had this brush pen before I had those, so that is not even in the same mind. And also, like, it's even more insane is like those Faber-Castell pens are pretty cheap. So, you know, not looking it up, I just seen that it had like a name brand, because the Japanese material pens are not technically a name brand. They're like generic almost. So, but now we are coloring it. I colored the sketch version because I wanted to see where to put the colors. And I know that there's gonna probably be people that say this, like, I like the pink one better. Listen, they are both good. Um, the pink one has the luxury of being looser, and I noticed that when you have a loose drawing, it will often look better than the tied down tight drawing sometimes. And there's very little you can do about that except for understand why the loose drawing looks good and utilize that looseness in your final design. I think part of the looseness that looks good is how the eye is curving around the face, and how the mouth is curving around the face, and how the head curves at the top and then kind of sharks straight down to the bottom, with that negative space towards the back of the body and the volume of the lower half of the body. But we must do what we must do, and we lost a significant amount of energy in the final, but it does look good still. I was able to get like the front to be light and the back to be dark, which is good. I was able to get the tips to read well, and the face looks cute, and this one also will have a background. So it's not perfect. Is the sketch perfect? No. Is the final perfect? No. But they are both attractive pieces of art that I like. And we're using the color pencils. We're not using the crayons. I don't think I use the crayons for any of these cards that I'm doing. And all of these cards are done on an index card. So, it's not the most insane thing, but it's something that I have a abundance of, and I am going to utilize them to the highest form of my ability. If I was if you're a madman and you're a lunatic, if you have like a bunch of just like cards for anything and you have acrylic paint, all of those cards become your own cards at that point, because you could just draw over it. But other mediums, you don't really have that. You kind of have to reset them, and I believe there is a way, but that requires, again, more materials that you don't have. I like to do stuff that is based off the things that you have. But yeah, this looks pretty good. I'm very happy with this. I'm very satisfied with it. And I hope that you like it. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you again in the next video. But it's not over yet, because there's still some final touches that are going to be done, and then it's going to do a spread at the end so you can see it. So stay tuned for that. But I will see you in the next one.